I got this noisy little vacuum over here. You'll see it takes care of quite a bit of the dust. I've got different sanding pads. I'm going to start off with 80, 150, 240, 320. I'll work my way up to around 400. I'm going to spin this thing in reverse. Just pull the rest out of the way. It's about 850 RPM. I just walk it across. Look, so much of this stuff that I'm demonstrating here, you guys already know how to do. But some folks may not. So just hang in there or hit the off button. Okay, that's 80. If you could feel this, you'd feel a little bit. You wouldn't feel any irregularities much. I feel something right here. Maybe this piece is going to flake off of here. So I want to sand on that a little bit more. I'm going to go the other way now. Just like when you're shaving, you're always going down and up. Same principle. And as you can see, the dust that's coming off now is much finer dust. You can see that my hands aren't jumping around nearly as much as because sandpaper, sanding stuff has gotten it really nice and round. To keep it moving, you won't put any flat spots on it. This is 240. I'm going to increase the speed a little bit. That's 1100 RPM. The reason I increase the speed is that it's finer dust and it throws it a lot better into the old sanding, sanding catching system I've got there. This is 320 grit. Grab a little bit more. That's 1300 RPM. You can see the dust is coming off like a fog because it's so fine. Okay, you can see that right here, you can see end grain. Can't have it. That has got to go away. So on both sides, it's always going to be there, sometimes worse than others. You can see just with a little bit of light sanding, most of that goes right away. Again, you want to keep that damn thing moving so that you don't put in a flat spot. And any little flat spot I might have put in there, that will eliminate. Doesn't take very long because you're in a small area. Like that. Okay, this right here is 91% isopropyl alcohol and some blonde shellac flakes. I mixed this 4 to 1. 4 to 1. 16 ounces of this, 4 ounces of that. So now I'll make a small batch like this right here. I'll put this in the jaws of the chuck, put a little sponge back here, put the tailstock up against it, make it a cushion, and then put a couple of nuts and bolts in there and spin it with the flakes in there. And after about an hour, it's all dissolved down good. I've got this Powermatic on the high speed end, so as slow as I could go is 120 RPMs, which is all right. That's just with the first coat. I'll get it to be shinier than that. But the process that I use is the 2-pound cut shellac. I'll put a couple of coats on, I'll sand it with like 1500 grit. I'll put on another couple of coats, do the same thing again. The last part that I do is using this kind of stuff right here, this beeswax. I just turn it up onto a high RPM polish it like you would a pair of shoes, I suppose. I used to use tongue oil from Formspeed, but if you ever check the price on that stuff right now, you'll have a heart attack. So if you're old, don't check. The last time I checked, and I am old, it was, I think 16 ounces was $80. Okay, this here is the part that I want you to understand why I went through all of the laborious processes, making sure that I've got a good blade, making sure I've got a good sled, making sure that I sanded them flat and everything, because that's the kind of joinery that you're looking for. You don't see any gaps in this piece. If there were gaps in it, it'd be in the fire pit. But with that sled and all this experience, I've got it down pretty good now. So I can touch this right now. I don't need to because I already know that this is already dry. The reason it's dry is because it's a 2-pound cut. It's a 4-to-1 dealio. I've got 4 times the amount of isopropyl as I have flakes in there. So that isopropyl alcohol, without anything, dries to the touch quickly. So does this. That's why I like using it. Yeah, that's dry. I can put another coat on now. That's another reason why I like doing it. I like putting on a few coats at a time. I'm just going to barely touch this just to knock down any kind of air bubbles that might be on there. It doesn't need anything more than that right there. That's as slow as she goes. Just drizzle a little bit more juice on there. These paper towels, my gosh, they really work well. They won't get caught on the machine. They'll jerk it out of your hand before that happens, which is good. So that looks pretty okie dokie.